What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the MMA Zone. Let's jump straight into it because Dana White just dropped a huge update about what's next for Ilia Topuria. Ever since Topuria shocked fans by giving up his featherweight belt and officially moving to the lightweight division, people have been buzzing with guesses. Is he going straight for Islam Makhachev? Or maybe a top contender for an interim title? And then came the bombshell. During a Spanish interview on the show El Magig, Topuria himself confirmed it. He's going to fight either Islam Makhachev or Charles Oliveira on the UFC 317 card this summer. Yep, it's real. And just to make sure everyone knew this wasn't a rumor, Dana White backed it up at the UFC 315 press conference. Dana said that the results of Saturday's fight between Belal Muhammad and Jack Della Maddalena would shape who Topuria faces next.
Dana, Ilia Topuria did an interview a few minutes ago where he said the winner of this fight is going to determine whether he fights Islam Makhachev or Charles Oliveira on International Fight Week. Can you confirm that that's the stakes attached to this main event too?
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts right now, and yeah, that's pretty accurate.
Now let's break that down. If Belal Muhammad wins, Makhachev is expected to stay at 155 and defend his belt. But if JDM pulls off the win, Makhachev will move up to 170 to try for a second title, and that would leave Topuria fighting Charles Oliveira instead. So basically, UFC's whole plan hinges on one massive fight. Belal Muhammad, though, isn't playing around. He told reporters that there's no need for the champion to sit around and wait. He's confident he's leaving Montreal with a welterweight title, and that the UFC should act now. As for Topuria, he didn't hold back when talking about Islam. In his interview, he said, "He's never fought anyone like me. I don't think he'll even touch my legs. The second he feels my strikes, he'll want to fly back to Russia. Makhachev is being cautious. He knows I'm going to beat him. That's why he doesn't want this fight." Whew, that's confidence. Now the question is, do you think Topuria can really beat Makhachev? Let's talk about another major update. UFC 315 weigh-ins, plus a last-minute change that no one saw coming. The UFC 315 weigh-ins are wrapped up, and we've got some important stuff to go through. First of all, the main event is on. Both Belal Muhammad and Jack Della Maddalena successfully made weight for their 170-pound title clash. But poor Belal, he can't catch a break. The Montreal Commission didn't even recognize him at weigh-ins. Like, seriously? He's in the main event. Speaking of the main event,
The champion Belal, remember the name Muhammad.
Main event.
Main event 170, sir. And you go with it.
let's talk about backup fighter Ian Gary. He also made weight. He came in at 168 pounds, just in case anything last minute goes down. In the co-main event, both Valentina Shevchenko and Manon Fiorot made weight too. Valentina hit 124 pounds and Manon came in right on the dot at 125. But the big shakeup, the fight between Jose Aldo and Ayman Zahabi, originally scheduled for bantamweight, had a wild turn. Both fighters missed weight. Yeah, you read that right. Jose Aldo came in at 143 pounds and Zahabi was at 142. That's way above the bantamweight limit. Now the fight's officially being switched to featherweight, and it doesn't stop there. Zahabi posted a video where he showed he was actually on track, weighing around 136.8 pounds, but his team told him that Aldo had already blown past the limit, so basically the fight shifted because of Aldo's miss. Moving on, let's talk about something wild. Jon Jones joining Russian reality MMA. No joke. Fans are still waiting to hear if Jon Jones is retiring, giving up his title, or finally stepping into the cage against Tom Aspinall. But instead of answers, what we got was Jones hanging out in Thailand. Yep, he was spotted chilling at a villa where the Russian version of The Ultimate Fighter is being filmed. And guess what? He's going to be a coach on the show. Jon Jones was seen filming with Marie Payev, one of the show's hosts. And the reality show? It's called Elf MMA Reality, which is kind of like Russia's version of Dana White's Contender series. One reporter even shared a video of Jones play fighting with Payev, saying Jones is going to be one of the team captains on Elf MMA Reality. In another video with creator Jeffrey Wu, Jones even answered questions from fans, including one about his old rival Daniel Cormier.
John versus PC at heavyweight, would it be different?
Peak Bones versus Peak DC at heavyweight.
Yeah.
I believe I beat Daniel Cormier at heavyweight worse than I beat him at light heavyweight. I feel like my speed has transferred over in a way that his hasn't. I think I beat him up way worse at heavyweight. I kick harder. He punched harder as a heavyweight, but I kick a lot harder. I'll see what my kicks did to him on the first fight.
But while he's having fun overseas, fans just want to know, is he ever going to fight Tom Aspinall? Next up, let's break down the UFC broadcast deal situation, because big changes might be coming. The UFC's deal with ESPN ends this year, and they're taking their time deciding what to do next. Apparently, the exclusive negotiation window with ESPN ended in April, and now UFC is talking to other companies. TKO president Mark Shapiro said during a Thursday call, "We're in talks with different third parties about UFC's media rights. ESPN is still in the mix and we'd love to stay with them, but no deal yet." So yeah, everything's still up in the air. One big discussion, whether UFC might move away from the pay-per-view model. Dana White said he's open to change if a new partner wants to try something else. That would be a huge shift for how fans watch fights. All right, let's circle back to Islam Makhachev, because even though he's been crushing records, he may be struggling with something big. Gilbert Burns says Makhachev might be hurting himself trying to cut to 155. He told Inside Fighting that Islam looks miserable every time he cuts weight and thinks he'd perform way better at 170. Burns believes that Makhachev could beat either Belal Muhammad or Jack Della Maddalena at welterweight. He said Islam is a welterweight, he's huge, he has to kill himself to make 155 every time. He looks awful, but after the weigh-in, he fills back up. I favor him over Jack and Belal. It's not an easy fight, but I still pick him. However, even with all this, there's no talk yet of Islam fighting his buddy Belalan, if Bella wins, of course. Bilal said that he doesn't think the UFC or Makhachev's camp would plan a fight like that behind his back anyway. Meanwhile, Caio Borralho is getting really frustrated with the middleweight division. For months, he's been asking for a fight, and nothing's happening. He was especially trying to get about with Nasruddin Imavov, but apparently Imavov said no. Now, Caio is watching all the other top middleweights book fights, and he's had enough. He took to social media and posted DPV versus Hamatler, Whitaker versus Duplessis versus Hernandez versus Strickland versus RoboCop versus Hermanssons. Where is Imavov? Should I call the FBI? Recent. Then he followed it with another post. Everyone's getting booked in middleweight. I guess they all know how good I am. Can I just retire now? Caio's last fight was back in August, and he's sitting on an undefeated 7-0 UFC record. So yeah, it's pretty crazy he can't get a fight. Let's jump right into the next section. UFC fight updates. We're just days away from UFC 315, but the UFC world never stops. So let's take a look at the latest fight news, starting off with the UFC Fight Night in Atlanta, coming up on June 14th. It's now official. Raoni Barcelos will be fighting none other than Cody Garbrandt. And guess what? This will be Cody's last fight on his current contract. That means everything's on the line. Garbrandt will try to recover from his loss to Deiveson Figueiredo at UFC 300. Meanwhile, Barcelos is on a 2-fight win streak, his latest being a victory over Peyton Talbot in January. Then, for International Fight Week in late June, we've got a thrilling middleweight matchup, Jack Hermansson versus Gregory RoboCop Rodriguez. Hermansson will be coming in hot after a solid win over Joe Pyfer, while RoboCop is hungry for redemption following a tough loss to Jared Cannonier back in February. Fast forward to the following month, UFC 318 in Louisiana is going to be lit. Adam Fugit will go head-to-head with Islam Dulatov. Fugit's looking to keep up the momentum from his narrow split decision win over Josh Quinlan, while Dulatov is aiming for his first UFC win after earning his spot on Dana White's Contender Series last October. This card is also expected to feature the long-awaited fight between Marvin Vettori and Brendan Allen. Remember, they clashed last summer? Oh yeah, it's happening. Vettori just came off a decision loss to Roman Dolidze, while Allen is desperate to bounce back after dropping 2 straight fights, the most recent against Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. Moving into August, Julius Walker and Rafael Cerro will throw down at UFC Vegas 109 inside the Apex on August 19th. Walker wants to redeem himself after losing his UFC debut in February. and Cerro will be fighting for his first win ever inside the octagon after 2 back-to-back losses. And finally, hold on to your seats because Triple C Henry Cejudo just announced something no one expected. He's going to Kazakhstan to participate in a grappling match at the end of this month. Now,
the Olympic champ, the flyweight champ, and the bantamweight champion of the world. In other words, man. Guess what, guys? Triple C is coming to Kazakhstan. That's right. I'm coming to Alash Pride Fight League tournament. You guys be there or be square because Triple C is coming.
let's talk drama. It's Luke Rockhold versus Bo Nikolai, but not in the cage. Even though Luke Rockhold is retired from fighting, he's still talking, and this time he's calling out Bo Nikolai in a major way after Bo lost to Rinat Fakhretdinov at UFC Fight Night Des Moines. On Submission Radio, Luke did not hold back. He said Bo Nickel is pathetic. He talked a big game, but was looking for a way out from the first round. He quit. That kid's not a fighter. He's a competitor. And he's really just soft. Wow. He seriously said that Bo quit like according to Luke. Bo doesn't have what it takes to be an elite fighter, no matter how good his wrestling is. Even if Bo sticks to a wrestling-only style, Luke believes he still won't make it to the top of the game. But Bo? He's not giving up. In fact, after the fight, he responded to all the haters and shared a powerful message.
And all the people that, it's interesting, of course, you mentioned there's a lot of positive and a lot of negative. All the negative, for me, I look at that and all I say is just like, at the end of the day, like, say what you want, but when I get back on top and when I'm the freaking champion of the world,
they're all crawling back.
You all come crawling back.
They always do.
They always do. They always do. And I'll spit right in your face. As soon as you crawl back and, Bo, come give me an interview, blah, blah, blah.
Where were you?
Where were you? Where were you? And guess what? I'm going to say, okay, come over here. Loogie right between the eyes. And that's how I'll treat you guys. And every single one of you that says a bad thing, I have the memory of an elephant.
And now, the moment that shocked everyone. UFC was forced to change the rules for UFC 315. Yes, you heard that right. A sudden and rare rule ban hit just days before the big event. And it's not something anyone expected. At UFC 315, the foot stomp has officially been banned. MMA reporter Aaron Bronstetter broke the news. He tweeted that the Quebec Athletic Commission will be using the unified rules of MMA, but with one big twist. Foot stomps won't be allowed. That's right, while the rest of the unified rules are in place, Quebec isn't budging on this. Apparently, foot stomps have always been banned in Quebec, and they're not looking to change that anytime soon. Even though foot stomps aren't super common anymore, some huge names have used them in the past, like Kamaru Usman and John Jones. They've both used them strategically in close quarters fights. So what do you think? Is Quebec being too strict, or are they doing the right thing? And there you have it, every major update, every fight twist, and all the behind-the-scenes shakeups happening in the world of UFC. From Ilia Topuria's next big move, to Islam Makhachev possibly moving up a weight class, to John Jones jumping into Russian MMA reality TV, and Bo Nickel getting dragged by Rockhold. It's been a roller coaster week. Not to mention all the new fight announcements, weight misses, and the surprise rule change. Let us know in the comments what you think about all this drama. Who should Topuria fight next? Should Makhachev move up? And what's going on with the UFC's future broadcast partner? This is MMA Zone, and we'll be back tomorrow with more breaking news, juicy drama, and all the action you crave. See you next time.